several years ago, I guess September 1st, 2002 to be exact, my wife Fran woke me up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I looked at her and she was white as a ghost, and I said, well, what's the matter? And she said, I don't know. She said, but something horrible is going to happen today. And when somebody says that to you, I mean, we were together 30 years. She never said anything remotely similar to me. So then you wonder, how seriously do you take something like that? That's something, that she couldn't put any specifics on it, but she just knew something utterly horrible was going to happen. So we did take it seriously, and we called my middle daughter, who was at school up in Carnegie Mellon, and she was okay. And my son was getting ready to leave for college the next day, and we checked, and he wanted to work one last day, and he was okay. And my youngest daughter, Bailey, wanted to work one last day before going back to high school, and I dropped her off. And as the day progressed, we figured, okay, there must be nothing to it, and we sort of let our guard down. And then that evening, my son and daughter were both in a horrible car crash, and my daughter didn't survive, and my son did. We went to a grief support organization, which was for parents who had lost children, and what we found was that every time the subject of the afterlife came up, or of anything that they considered to be paranormal, the moderator would shut us down and didn't want to talk about it, because they felt that this was a group just to get you to have techniques for working out your grief, which I thought was odd, because that's all the parents wanted to talk about. Because even then, I think I realized that probably the most effective form of grief therapy is a belief in the afterlife. If you believe that you will see your child in some form again, that helps you. So what we would do is we would stand out in the parking lot after the meetings were over amongst ourselves and talk about it then. So then we came up with the idea, well, wouldn't it be great if there were these discussion groups where people of like mind could discuss these things? And that one thing led to another, and then we eventually formed the Forever Family Foundation, and those afterlife discussion groups are the backbone of the organization.
It's very hard to get people to accept and believe and even have a little hope that the communication can even happen. I mean, there's a quantum jump between hoping it's true and knowing it's true. I mean, that's a big valley to jump over. And of course you run up against all of the critics, and rightfully so, who question, whether you're being led around by grief. Is it just hocus pocus? Is it whatever? And as a result, Bob and Fran made a decision to try to access Dr. Schwartz and access mediums such as myself to bring forward the readings to the public and say, look, this is what happens. Here it is. Decide for yourself.
Since with the advent of the internet and membership is free, we have membership all over the world. So we have several thousand members. At present we're a couple of years old. And we have many different services. One, we talked about these afterlife discussion groups, which are run throughout the United States, and they're small, open groups of not more than 20 people, and the purpose is just to create a safe environment where people can talk about all these experiences and learn from each other. We publish a quarterly newsletter called Signs of Life, and we publish it and send it out first class for free, all over the world. We started our own radio show by the same name, Signs of Life. We broadcast once a week, and people can listen via the internet.
Let's take Donna from Massachusetts.
Hi.
Hi, Donna. How are you this evening?
Very well. How are you?
Good. You're speaking to
Take
Dr.
my call.
You're more than welcome. Go ahead and ask your question to Dr. Stoff.
I just wanted to know.
It's an informational hour to inform people that are interested in the science, or if there's someone that has lost someone, or if you're just curious about the topic. We'd like to bring many scientists, mediums, and researchers to the program. And our goal really is to first open the beginning of the show talking about the hot topics about today's science, or maybe an interesting article or an email we received, because we want people to be interactive with it. It's really their show. And then we spend maybe 45 minutes of the show interviewing a scientist or a medium or a researcher to hopefully educate the public in understanding that there's a lot going on in the world of survival of consciousness, that there are many things happening today in the world of science that will hopefully provide the proof that we're looking for.
Over the years, we've kind of adapted ourselves to the events that are either the most needed or the most successful. And we found, just by fluke, the first year we did a thing called Holidays Past at CW Post. And it just seems to be there's that one Saturday night in December where everybody's having their holiday parties, and somebody who's lost someone just doesn't want to be at a party. So we took that same Saturday night, we rented the theater at CW Post, we called in two fabulous mediums, Robert Brown and Robert Hansen, and we filled the room, and they just did medium communication the entire night. That's what we found was filling a need. And so that program, even if 10 people show up or 100 people show up, that's something that we do every year.
I first really got interested in this when I lost my husband. And I am a true believer that when we die, we don't really die, we do live forever. And fortunately, there are people who are able to communicate with the people who have crossed. And that has opened up a whole new world for me. It's given me a new lease on life. Without that, I didn't want to continue. And now I know that my husband is there, my dad's there, people that I love are there, and it's just a matter of hoping someday to be able to communicate with them myself. But I'm grateful to know that there are very talented mediums who, in the meantime, can do that for me, so I'm very fortunate with that.